Hey guys, Paolo from CongaChops.com here, and welcome back to our Quick Tip Lesson series, where we're checking out some different fills, phrases, and concepts that you can incorporate into your conga playing. Now if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications for the channel so you know when our next lesson drops. Today I want to go over a couple of ways that we can work on a two-drum pattern in the up section of an arrangement while playing the tumbadora on the two side of the clave. If any of this sounds completely new to you, please take a second to watch last week's lesson where we focused on playing the tumbadora on the three side of the clave, which is often considered its more common role. Now, playing the tumbadora on either the two side or the three side is something that we'll need to get really comfortable with as we start to deepen our understanding of the clave. So this first pattern is super simple. All we're going to do is work on a two-bar phrase in 2-3 clave, where we play two low drum open tones on the end of 2 and beat 3 in the first bar, which coincides with the two side of the clave. And we'll use the common one-bar tumbao as the foundation. Now, since the tumbadora is more commonly played on the three side, if we want to be more deliberate about which direction of the clave we're playing in, we can simply play a single open tone on beat 4 in the second bar to emphasize that we're on the three side of the clave. This open tone will line up with the third note of the son clave, which will leave no doubt that we're playing our pattern correctly with respect to the clave. We can also work on this as a 4-bar or 8-bar phrase by simply choosing to play the tumbadora once every 4 or 8 bars instead of every 2. Now, just like we worked on in the last lesson, at a certain tempo, or just to make the sticking flow better, it might be a bit more comfortable for us to move our right hand slap on beat 2 over to the end of 1 so we can free up our right hand to get to the tumbadora. So instead of starting that bar by playing palm tip slap, that's left, left, right, our first 3 strokes will be palm slap tip. That's left, right, left. So let's hear what that sounds like as a 4-bar phrase in 2-3 clave. And this time, let's use our modern one-drum tumbao as the foundation. So we'll only play our tumbadora strokes in the third bar of the phrase, which will continue to line up with the two side of the clave. After I played the tumbadora in bar 3, I decided to play ghost open on the last 2 eighth notes of the bar, just like in our modern one-drum tumbao. But you can feel free to play those as 2 open tones instead. However, by making sure that we adhere to the accents from our modern one-drum tumbao, we're making it very clear which side of the clave we're on in each respective bar. Now, seeing as playing the tumbadora on the 2 side is more of a modern approach in terms of how it's been used, I think it's super important to be deliberate about how and when we choose to play in clave. This is of course something that we'll develop a feel for the more we listen to and analyze different players and recordings. So when you're listening to your favorite records, make sure you pay close attention to if and when the conga player is being deliberate about emphasizing the clave. This isn't something that's set in stone, and there's no concrete right or wrong way to go about it as long as you're respecting which side of the clave you're on. Now, that can simply mean playing 2 open tones on the conga every time you get to beat 4 in each bar like in our common tumbao, which is perfectly fine. Or making sure you distinguish more clearly by playing a single open tone on beat 4 on the 3 side of the clave, for example. This is something that you'll generally hear more commonly used in a more modern salsa or timba context. But ultimately, it boils down to personal preference, while making sure we respect the style of the particular artist, song, or arrangement we're playing. So let's work on one more simple variation on this pattern that you'll hear more often in a modern context. We'll continue to work on it as a 4-bar phrase, playing the tumbadora in the third bar. And all we're going to do is play our right hand slap on the end of 1 as a low drum muffle tone instead. you can feel free to repeat this as a 4-bar phrase as you begin to master it. But in a musical context, this variation might only be used once every 8 or 16 bars, or even once in an entire song, just to add some variety to the groove in a way that doesn't disturb the constant flow of eighth notes that the conga is playing for the better part of most arrangements in popular dance styles such as salsa or timba. For now, let's work on combining the last 2 patterns we worked on into a longer 8-bar phrase at a bit faster tempo over one of our Los Van Van inspired loops from congachops.com. In the first 4 bars, we'll play a right-hand slap on the and of 1 in the 3rd bar just before moving to the tumbadora. And in the second 4-bar phrase, we'll play that stroke as a low drum muffle tone instead. Let's check it out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, if you're not already hip to Los Van Van, I strongly encourage you to spend some serious time checking them out. They're one of the most prolific Cuban bands of all time, and through their almost 6 decades of recorded music, they've cemented and maintained a style all their own, rooted in the songo genre which they created, while at the same time evolving and staying current with each new generation of Cuban musicians. As for the patterns we covered in this lesson, they can work great in a wide variety of settings, styles, and genres. So just keep an ear out as you listen to more and more music to hear how and when they're used. Now make sure you take the time to study each pattern slowly, working on the sticking and the tones, and most importantly, being aware of which side of the clave you're playing the tumbadora on as you start to speed them up and work on your feel. Now, just as with the patterns from last week's lessons, there are really no concrete right or wrong way to use these variations, as long as you do so with respect to the clave, and, of course, respecting the style or genre you're accompanying it. In a more modern context, playing the tumbadora on the 3 side can be used in tandem with playing it on the 2 side as part of a longer phrase. And in some more old school recordings, but not limited to this style, you may hear that the conga player will base their playing for an entire section on only one of either of these 2 variations. If you're interested in learning more about what we do on Conga Chops, come check us out at congachops.com. We've got an incredible library of step-by-step lessons and courses, over 10 hours of exclusive practice loops, hand-picked Spotify playlists for every pertinent lesson and course on the site, and an amazing community forum where you can get one-on-one feedback on everything you're working on, ask any questions you might have, and join in a bunch of incredible discussions on a variety of different topics. Just click the link below to grab your 7-day free trial and see what it's all about. Now don't forget to show your support by hitting like and subscribe, and of course sharing this lesson with anyone you think might benefit from it. And feel free to leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next. I'll see you in the next lesson.